Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for November 18th. It's been a very slow news week, but we got some for you still. We're going to talk about the Jack Vassal Memorial Fund auction. We're going to talk about Lords of Waterdeep getting released as an app, and we're going to talk about the Kickstarter for the game Brew Crafters. Hey, I'm Chris, and this is Board with Life News. We are packing up all our stuff so we can go to Board Game Geek Con this week, and that's why I'm coming to you from my living room instead of the normal future technology of the green screen. So I apologize if the audio quality or lighting is not up to our standards. But we are very excited about going to Board Game Geek Con this week. We're going to play a ton of games. We are going to film a ton of content. We're going to have a party on Saturday night. So if you're going, you should definitely track some of us down. You can tweet at us to try to hook up with us, or we will probably be, hopefully, if we get them in time, which we should, we'll be wearing Board with Life shirts, so it will be easy to find. And yeah, we're having a party Saturday night. You guys should come to it if you're coming. And yeah, tweet us to find out the details on whatever, if you're coming. So on to the news. On Board Game Geek right now, they're running an auction for the Jack Vassal Memorial Fund. The Jack Vassal Memorial Fund was started by Tom Vassal of the Dice Tower, and it is a nonprofit organization designed to help gamers in their times of need. There's some really cool stuff on there right now that you can get. My favorite stuff is one guy's mom is making custom stockings, and she has a Twilight Struggle stocking up there and a Ticket to Ride stocking up there, and they're super rad. So you should definitely go check that out if you're interested. It's going on through November 25th. So it's a great way to kind of give back to the community that is so awesome to all of us. Moving on, I'm going to talk about an app, an iOS app for the very first time. I've never talked about that on the news before, but as I said, it's a slow news week. Lords of Waterdeep is getting a release on November 21st this week with their new app. The app is designed by Playdeck. They've designed some really cool ones, Agricola, Ascension, Summoner Wars, all those I play very regularly. And they're all very well-designed apps, so it should be a very quality release from them. And Lords of Waterdeep, in case you don't know, is a very, very, very popular worker placement game. It's set in a Dungeons & Dragons type of world. It was a big hit. I think it came out 2 years ago, maybe last year. But it's a pretty recent game, so that's exciting. Definitely go check that out on the 21st if that sounds interesting to you. Now let's head over to Kickstarter Corner. We're in Kickstarter Corner now. This week's Kickstarter Corner is for the new game Brew Crafters. I promise I didn't just pick Brew Crafters so I could drink a beer on camera. I promise. Brew Crafters is a worker placement Euro game with a really nice theme where you own a craft brewery and you're trying to make different kinds of beers and design different kinds of beers. So you have to manage all your resources like hops and grain and barley and all that kind of stuff. So it all balances out so you run a successful brewery. I really like the theming of it, and I'm a sucker, as you probably know by now, for worker placement games and Euro games. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. It's $60 right now on Kickstarter. All right, and that's the news for the week. Make sure, again, to check us out at Board Game Geek Con. Make sure to check out our bit tomorrow. We're going to have it normal. There's not going to be news next week because we're going to be at BGG Con, but we'll have tons of content from BGG Con coming up for you to enjoy. This week's question comes from @DanShuSu via Twitter, and he asked, what tabletop games would you recommend for video gamers to check out? Instead of answering this myself, I'm actually going to throw this to somebody who has a very unique perspective on this, Anthony Birch. He wrote Borderlands 2, the popular video game, and he is a regular member of our gaming group. So I'm going to see what he has to say about this. Okay, live reporting, Anthony Birch. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay,
Chris.
Oh,
Chris, I can't hear you.
Oh.
I'm an adult, and I'm pretending that I'm talking to someone through an earpiece I don't have.
Okay.
Oh well. I'm Anthony Birch. I'm reporting live from video games. And to answer the question, I believe that the best board games to start out playing if you are a hardcore video game fan, like myself, is to play board games that give you something that video games cannot offer you, which is mainly about social engineering or just being in a group of people and playing off one another. Because there are a lot of multiplayer video games, most of them are really just about shooting people, and the other people happen to be human beings. A game like, for example, Once Upon a Time is a really cool sort of storytelling game where it's you and a bunch of other people and you're just going around, and the win condition is very soft. It's a very kind of just fun hangout game where you're having to tell a story and have play a bunch of cards that you have that are like Princess or Dungeon or whatever, and try to get rid of all your cards by using those in the story. And your friends are trying to interrupt you and take the story away from you, and it's a really kind of interesting thing that can't be replicated in any video game. Radical! Another good kind of game to play is a City of Horror, which is a really fun zombie game that's specifically about arguing with all of your friends to see which of your see which of your friends you want to throw out to the zombies to get eaten. The game is specifically designed so that you can't have all of the characters that are owned by every player survive. So you basically just have to start making deals with people like, I'll give you some medicine if you throw that person to the wolves, or the zombies, I guess, and let them die and all that kind of stuff. And it's really, really neat. And again, not something you get in video games, because most video games that are about cooperation never have you betray your friends.
Real cool.
Really, a whole genre of games that are really good for this are social deduction games like Werewolf or Mafia. You might know as Mafia, Battlestar Galactica, or my particular favorite is Two Rooms and a Boom, which is basically there's 2 rooms full of people that are all made up of different team members, and there's a president and a bomber, and you have to get them in the same room by the end of the 5 rounds of the game. And so it becomes this really interesting deduction thing where you're trying to show people maybe what card you have, but you don't know if you want to show it to them because they might be on the other team. And just the act of actually trying to actively decide who is what, and therefore how to accomplish your goals, is something that, with the exception of one video game I can think of, which would be Trouble in Terrorist Town, no video games really do any of that sort of werewolf experience. So that would be my suggestion. Extreme!